This piece that I'm standing next to right now is called The Resurrection, and it was pretty inflammatory at the time, and the site of what some people consider to be a crime. David Aronson was painting this piece when he was, about a 19-year-old art student in the museum school. He was working on it very, very late one night in his studio. He was painting with a palette knife. He was painting the red under portion of the Christ figure, which is right here. And Christ had a lot of red, and he was applying it to the canvas. And he would stumble back because the night was so hot, and he would sit on the windowsill and he would let his hand fall out the window. Two Boston policemen were standing on the street looking up, and they saw flailing of arms, and they saw what happened to be a what they thought was a fight, and they saw a man stumble up to the window, lean out, and hold what looked to be a blood-drenched knife. And they rushed upstairs, and they pushed the artist against the wall. One of them began searching the room for a body, and finally all they found was a painting. But this painting was just as exciting and thought-provoking and disruptive as any crime could have been, and I think really speaks to David Aronson's career at a very, very interesting period of time in the history of Boston painting. This is one of the final pieces of the David Aronson retrospective entitled The Paradox. This is a painting of the Golem. We borrowed it from the Museum of Fine Arts. This show is a very ambitious show that really portrays a body of work for about 20 years of a very, very renowned Boston artist who's a member of a school called Boston Expressionism, together with Carl Zerba and Hyman Bloom and Jack Levine. David Aronson really defined what Boston Expressionism was during the war, World War II and the post-war years. This show at the museum explores a body of work that is still a part of a continuing tradition, but is very important to the history of painting. The Golem, I think for those of you who don't know what this was, a golem is a mythological creature, a mythical creature, a magical creature who comes to life. He is formed by the artist-creator, and he is meant to be someone who can exact revenge and protect the enemies of the Jewish people. This particular golem came to life by having the word God or truth inscribed on a piece of paper and put in his mouth. And how better for an artist to say that he is going to work representationally, that representation and the idea of creating and putting the human figure as central is important. How better for an artist to say this than to create a golem figure. I'm very much hoping that people are able to come to the museum and see this show, which is up until February 28th.